So I just made some spaghetti and I thought, okay, I want to do this now. I want to make this video talking about my MCAT experience. So for me, I had to take this exam 2 times, and obviously it was pretty hard, not getting it the first time, but hey, I can relate with other people now, and I had to experience more develop my ability of perseverance. And anyway, the amount of time I spent studying in total was for 11 weeks, and the resources I used were Kaplan, Next Step, exam crackers for the car section, and 1 free diagnostic test from Princeton since they offer that online. I don't consider my first time studying useless, even though the score didn't reflect what I had hoped for, and because that first time studying, I still that was where I studied for all the content, and it was like 1 month of content and taking some practice tests and doing those practice questions, and then another month of just the rest of the time just continual studying with practice tests and other practice questions and other stuff that I'll mention later on as well. Piece of advice is register early if you want to get the city that you want to take the test in for your convenience. They open it up I think at 6 a.m. So I remember my first time I woke up a little before 6 a.m. so I can be ready to register. So that's for your convenience to know, even though it's not convenient to wake up that early. And then I want to talk right now about the struggles. So obviously, if you don't know, it's an 8-hour exam. You're sitting down for so long, and then you times that by 14 practice tests, which was how many practice tests I took in total. Some people do less than that, and some people do more, I don't know. But other struggle was, having to take it a second time. And the second time I did it was during the summer, so I was also getting medical school applications in, and it was pretty tough, during May, and then there's secondary applications that they send you in, so trying to get those in as well, but I kind of put the secondary applications a little bit after my exam. Yeah, I did that after my MCAT exam, even though I had the invitations to do it. Experiencing chest pain since I was so you kind of have to watch your posture, but I remember for me, I just since I was getting in my primary applications and then getting in studying for the MCAT, I was kind of in this posture, so it kind of hurt my chest. But also fighting the emotions of feeling and you're being so much in solitude, because you're either just talking to yourself or you're alone just studying, reading the book. Sacrificing summer was hard. Fighting burnout, because that's a real thing, and trying not to waste questions that try to trick you. So those are some struggles. There's some other stuff too, but I will just mention those for now. But I will tell you my score right now. My first score was a 499. So that was but my second score was a 507. So I know that's not the perfect score, but it was at least that was an 8-point improvement, and I was really happy about that. So it's a little video of my reaction during that night, because I was studying abroad when I opened it, and it was kind of late at night, and so I was screaming in silence, but screaming for joy in silence. So I was really happy. So I was thank you, God, so much for being with me throughout this whole time, and glory to you. Okay. So now I want to talk about fighting back against those struggles, and advice for what you can do while you're preparing to take this important exam to become a doctor and get into med school. So I would recommend making a sticky note of the score that you want and putting it somewhere you can see it, like on your mirror or on your whiteboard or on your phone, the back of your phone. And that helped me, like when I was about to take a practice exam and just knowing like, oh, I have this whole day, this whole next few hours just doing this exam. But when I saw the sticky note, it kind of helped me, okay, I have a goal that I'm aiming for and I hope to get. Also, there's a lot of MCAT apps that you can download on your phone that are pretty helpful for learning mnemonics. I felt that was for my case. And you can delete apps if you need to, like social media apps. I did that during my time prepping. And next is Anki, which is a totally like incredible online flashcard resource, and it's free. So what I made like about 900, a little over 900 flashcards, but obviously that was a lot easier doing it on my computer because you can type faster and you can add images, so that was really great. So I had heard this from like med students on YouTube, like when they're giving advice, so I really strongly recommend it. They use it for when they're studying in med school, so if you can start that now for your classes and for MCAT, hey, it's so great. You need it. But yeah, I remember the first time studying, I just made physical handwritten flashcards, and that was pretty it took longer, and even though I was like really happy how tall my flashcard stacks had become, it was kind of demotivating in a little sense in that, well, I don't know, they just like, there's a lot to study, but with my online flashcards, like I didn't know I had 900, and I was like just going, and with Anki, it tells you when, if you need to, like, it gives you options, like if you want to study it again tomorrow, or you feel more confident and you feel like, okay, I'll see that, I'll pick 3 days, I'll study it again in 3 days, or in a week if you're like, oh, it's just something I need to be reminded about, but it's not like I need to still study as hard as much on this flashcard of this piece of information. So that's great. And then my schedule, what it looked like during my second time was from 9 a.m. to 6:30-ish p.m., more or less. I would study that whole time. I would stay off social media, and at the end of the day, I would go on a run. So I know some people run at the beginning of their day, like they start off their day and then they study, but for me, when I would have running at the end, it was like, yes, I'm finally free from all that studying for now and for today. And so that really made me happy. I didn't like train myself so hard on my running as I would, but because I was already like being really hard on my academics, I just like did like free running, I guess you could call it that, where like there's days I ran longer and then days I ran shorter distances. So but it still kept me like physically like just like a little more healthy, and so it felt good to just like, I'm free. And I use the Google Calendar. I really strongly recommend that as well, instead of writing it down on like paper, just because on Google Calendar you can kind of move things around if you need to. Obviously you want to stick with your schedule, but sometimes you study more on, you're like, I realize I need to study more on this topic and I can just move this over tomorrow. And it's just faster when you're typing it out and having it in that form. Okay, so this video kind of went long, so I'll make a second part. See you in a bit.